So over the past week or so, I decided to go back to the older Battlefield games. I kind of just wanted to see if the community was still popping, if there was players online. I recently did this with Call of Duty games, so if you haven't checked out that video, I basically looked at all the Call of Duty games in 2022. I'll leave a link down in the comment section below so you can check that shit out. But today we're doing Battlefield, so we're going to start with 1943 and work our way to current day Battlefield 2042, also known as Diarrhea in the Toilet. But yeah, let's get this started. Battlefield 1943, and as you're seeing on the screen, I'm going to try to show all of the menus and all of the... Look how quickly I got into that shit. Look at that. Like 2 seconds, not even 2 seconds. That's how long I last in bed. But as you can see, the lobby is pretty much almost full, and this is actually a Battlefield game that I never played years ago, so this is like the first few times I ever jumped into this game, and it was a lot of fun. I was actually surprised. Still some players online, still some lobbies to be joined. And somebody in the comment section is going to have to tell me how good this game was in its prime, because, you know, I'm playing it years later for the first time, so I have no clue how good this game was, you know, 10 years ago when it came out. Somebody's going to have to tell me, but had a lot of fun with this. This game is still active and still great. Moving on to Battlefield Bad Company, the first one. This is the game that kind of started it all for me. Years and years ago, this was the Battlefield that kind of, I wouldn't say it blew up the series, that's probably Bad Company 2, but this game was really good in its own right. I always felt like the Bad Company games, they had the best campaigns. That's just a side note. I know we're talking about multiplayer, but the Bad Company games, they were fantastic. I mean, at the time when this game came out, I'm not exactly sure, I think this game came out in like 2007. The explosions that you were seeing, that's kind of what Battlefield was known for. I mean, you could throw, look at me, I'm just chucking nades, 4 or 5 grenades at a time. Buildings are being exploded. My teammates dying, I accidentally killed them. Fuck it. And yeah, this game was so innovative at the time, and everybody knew if you wanted a more realistic first-person shooter, you would play Battlefield instead of Call of Duty. So yeah, Bad Company 1 was definitely a great game. Still players online, as you saw me at the start, get right into a match fairly quickly. And yeah, a lot of fun to be had still on this game. It has dated a little bit, you know, it's kind of outdated, but still fun. Graphically doesn't look the best, but gameplay-wise, not bad. Battlefield Bad Company 2, also known as the greatest Battlefield game of all time, and if you think otherwise, you are simply wrong. I'm just kidding. You're entitled to your own opinion, but in my opinion, this is the best Battlefield game that we have seen to date. And as you saw on the screen, I was able to get into a match within like 10 seconds again. Not a full lobby, and it's kind of hit or miss depending on what time of day you search for a match. You might get into a full lobby or you might not, but one thing I can say for certain is you can find matches on this game. And I mean, what can I say about this game? I could go on for hours. This game had the best campaign story mode in the entire Battlefield series. That's just my opinion again. And as far as the multiplayer goes, some of the best maps, just the modern setting, Conquest, Rush on this game, just so much fun with friends. I remember at the time that this game came out, this is when Battlefield was starting to finally take off, and there's like the comparisons between Battlefield and COD, which is better. I don't ever think you could compare the two. I mean, this is more of a realistic shooter. If you want a more realistic experience when it comes to first-person shooters, you would play Battlefield, and if you wanted a more arcade-type shooter, then you would play Call of Duty. It was just that simple to me. And yeah, I want to know from you guys, what is your favorite Battlefield? Let me know in the comments section. I bet you a lot of you are going to say Bad Company 2. You could definitely feel the difference between Bad Company 1 and Bad Company 2. Like, this game still holds up even to this day. I feel like the mechanics of this game and the gameplay are still pretty good. Graphically, it doesn't look the best, but for a game that came out 13 years ago, I still think it looks pretty good, and still a lot of fun to be had on this game, so definitely download it and give it a shot. Battlefield 3, another fantastic game in the franchise. I went to server browser. I think this was like the first or second game that introduced the server browser, which is a really cool feature. And as you can see, that shit is glitched as fuck, so I got out of there quickly. I went to Quick Match, and you can actually customize your search, but I don't recommend doing so. So you can customize the map or the game type that you wanted to play, which was a really cool feature at the time. But nowadays, you know, the game is old as shit, so I don't recommend doing that, because if you want to get into a match as quick as I did, then just leave it at any and you'll get into whatever is available. Yeah, this is probably the last Battlefield game that I put a lot of time into. I think I had over like 72 hours on this game. And, you know, just the modern setting with the Battlefield. Look at this camper. What is he doing in this building? If you guys have ever played any of the Battlefield games, you know there's a shit ton of campers and they love their buildings. That really goes for any game though, kind of like Call of Duty is also known for that. So it's just not a specific thing when it comes to Battlefield. Anyways, getting sidetracked, and I turn on this kid. Absolutely disgusting plays out of me. This is the last Battlefield that I put a lot of time into. A really good game. I feel like this is an underrated game in the series. I know it's a lot of people's favorite game. This or Bad Company 2 are probably the most popular. And yeah, just really good maps, really good gunplay, a lot of fun, and still to this day, this game holds up great. Battlefield 4, where in the hell do I start with this one? Mixed emotions when I think about this Battlefield, but let me shut up and talk about the screen. Server browser is what you're going to want to do. You can go into quick match and try to find a match that way, but you're going to wait a long ass time and might not even find a match. So most of the lobbies are full if you go to server browser, which is a great sign for this game. And yeah, a lot of people don't remember this about this game, but I remember at launch, this game was experiencing a shit ton of problems, like almost to the extent of Battlefield 2042. I don't think it was that bad, but it was close. I remember for like the first 2 weeks this game came out, I couldn't find a match. When I did find a match, I was going into empty lobbies, and I was basically playing by myself. And I was running around for like 20 minutes, and I was like, holy shit, I think I'm by myself in this entire game. And then I left and started crying. But yeah, when they did eventually release patches and update this game, it was fantastic. One of the best Battlefield games. Probably the most fun I've had on a Battlefield game over the last, 3-4 releases. So I absolutely love the modern setting when it comes to Battlefield games, and I just thought this game was great. Fun maps, fun gameplay, a lot of great guns to use, and overall, really good. Battlefield Hardline, the most controversial game in the entire franchise. As you're seeing on the screen, a lot of servers open, a lot of people playing this game. And one thing I want you guys to keep in mind with these older Battlefield games is it kind of differs day to day. So you might hop on one day and hit the jackpot. There's like 10 lobbies open, lots of players playing. And then another day it might be just 3 or 4 lobbies. But one thing I can say for sure, all of these games do have players on them. So in my Call of Duty video where I talked about all the Call of Duty games in 2022, I had some people commenting saying, hey bitch, I can't find a match with Black Ops 3. I was like, well motherfucker, when I was searching I could find a match. So it kind of just differs day to day. Keep that in mind. But talking a little bit about Battlefield Hardline, this game got a lot of hate but also a lot of love. It's kind of mixed opinions about this game. Like I said, very controversial. I loved it. I thought it was very unique, very intriguing. The whole premise between, cops versus robbers I thought was very well done. Another great campaign with this one. And yeah, just extremely underrated. It did feel more like a DLC to Battlefield 4, but regardless, it still was a fantastic game in my opinion. Next up, we got Battlefield 1, the World War I shooter that came out in 2016. Clicking on server browser, there actually wasn't too many active servers, but at least they were mainly full. And granted, I was searching for these games at like 2 in the morning. Do not ask why I was up at that hour, because it was not for anything holy, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, when it comes to World War shooters, I'm going to say it right off the start. I am not the biggest fan because they usually look very dull, gray, and depressing. And my life is already depressing as is. I do not need to play a game that looks that way. But this game is the complete opposite. I mean, look at the colors. Look how beautiful and sexy this looks. Very colorful, very vibrant. It is not your typical World War I shooter. And honestly, I'm going to say it too. I don't even know the differences between World War I and World War II. Mainly because I'm a dumbass and I'm just no historian. But I can't tell you the difference between the guns between the two world wars. But I don't even know why I felt the need to mention that, but I did. And this game, it's 6 years old, still looks really good as I mentioned. Still a ton of players, not a ton of players, but there is some lobbies open. And any time of the day you can hop on and find a match. Really good Battlefield game and pretty underrated in the series. Next up, we got Battlefield 5, which was kind of the start of the downward spiral that Battlefield as a franchise has been on ever since. A lot of people saw the signs with this game. I honestly didn't. I thought this game was pretty good from what I played. I didn't put a lot of time into it, maybe like 14, 15 hours, but from what I played, it was all right. I was kind of just getting sick and tired of the whole World War shooter at this point because the previous Battlefield was World War I, of course. This one was World War II. I can't tell the fucking difference between the two. It just feels like more of the same. And at this point, I just wanted to go to a more modern or even futuristic Battlefield, which, I mean, be careful what you wish for, because we definitely got a more futuristic Battlefield in 2042, which, holy fuck, what a mess. We'll get to that in a second. But Battlefield 5, it was an okay game. I think people were kind of just tired, like myself, of the whole World War II shooter at this point. We wanted to go to a more modern or more futuristic style of game, but not bad. Oh yeah, and I guess I should mention, because the whole video is about this, there is still players on this game, of course. It is the second most recent Battlefield game. Go to server browser, you'll have no trouble finding matches. Oh, sorry, I just threw up in my mouth 14 times because we were on Battlefield 2042, and as you can tell, I'm not the biggest fan of this game. I will admit, over the last few months, they have updated it, and it does play a lot better than it obviously did at launch. I mean, the amount of problems this game was experiencing at launch, guys, it literally made me cry myself to sleep every single night, because not only was my grandma and me excited to play this game, I'm pretty sure everybody was excited to play this game. It was one of the most anticipated shooters of all time, and it didn't live up, not even close to the expectations that we all had for this game. Now, I don't think they can release as many updates as they want. I don't think they will ever recover, and that's the way that society is nowadays. If you don't have something working within the first week or two that somebody spends their hard-earned money on, people are going to leave, they're going to go play something else, they're going to demand a refund, they're not going to give you a second chance. So yeah, this game, unfortunately, a lot of hype, but it just did not live up to it. It's not horrible when it's working properly, but when is it working properly? Anyways, I want to know in the comment section from you guys. We just looked at all of the Battlefield games in 2022. I want to know from you guys, what is your first Battlefield game you ever played? What is your favorite Battlefield game that you ever played? And yeah, that's pretty much it. I will kiss you guys later. Leave a like, subscribe if you love me, and I will see you later. Peace.